Welcome back to Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. We're working on too many videos at once is always a bad idea, but I never learn, do I? Wandering right into the Creepypasta wiki like a moth drawn to a flame. Only I'm drawn to the flame of bad stories. So today, we'll finally go over the legendary tale. Pokemon Blank. Put a lot of thought into that title, didn't you, author? I always told myself that I was a classic fan, or an original fan, until something had happened to me not too long ago, end of sentence. Every time I hear a new Pokemon game coming out, I would get mad. Well, son of a bitch. I never liked the new Pokemon that always came out, constantly all the time. Most of the time, I won't buy a new game of Pokemon until a few years, when the game turns old and cheaper. Which doesn't sound right, but okay. They aren't getting cheaper though, don't lie to yourself. I only buy the game so I can know all the new Pokemon and not sound like a noob to everyone. You're doing a really good job so far. But I would say my favorite generation was the second one, and my least favorite was the third generation. Because as everyone knows, change is bad, and so is the author. But everything changed when I saw the game Black and White. Back in the far-off year of 2001, how the author is going to manage to tie this all together, we'll never know. Pokemon White, as the author now decides to call it, was the first Pokemon game that I bought when it first came out. I was told these games, just the one, were going to change Pokemon forever. So I had to get it. But unfortunately, I put this comma in the wrong spot. But also, I didn't have enough money to buy a new game. This whole plan was really well thought out. So I decided to buy a used game when everyone else bought new games. A genius scheme. There's bound to be plenty of used copies lying around on launch day. Also, way to save $2. I remember when I first bought the game. I should hope so, it's happening right now. But I went to the front desk of Gamestop, aka the only store in Creepypasta world, and I asked if there any used games of Pokemon White. And despite that not making sense, he said I was in luck, because there was only a few left. I bought the game, and the game was put inside a small plastic bag. The guy then asked me, God, I hope it's about the bag. Are you happy about this game? I answered him, no, not really. I don't like it when they make new Pokemon. I saw the guy frown. Yeah, I know how you feel. But what about how I feel? Because I don't like either of you. But after that, I was taken home. With magic, I assume. And I took out my used DS. The author also hates the concept of dual screens, and that's why his DS is used, obviously. I opened the box to the used new game. The little game was in bad shape, as I would expect from you manhandling it for a whole second. It had a lot of scratch marks on it, and the sticker was ripped off. I thought it wasn't going to work, because the sticker is so vital, but it did. I turned the game on, and saw the opening game screen. First, I saw the Game Freak logo with the shooting star and thought it looked very cool. I'm not used to the new graphics. I still play Fire Red, one word, and Silver when I can. I was amazed to see the video where the little N was given a crown hat. But I still felt a little disappointed that Pokemon really didn't change. Ignoring all the differences, it was the same thing, basically. I didn't notice at first, but the video loaded more slowly than normally. Not that you would know, but next I was taken to the title screen. When I first noticed that there was no name on the title screen, I thought that this game was used, end of sentence. Perhaps, the last person deleted their game file, or the file was corrupted and got deleted, or no one actually played this before him because it's launch day. It was strange, though, to think that because the game was brand new, and it's not brand new, it's used somehow, and didn't have any glitches like Pokemon Red and Blue, which you of course would know being such an expert on the entire series, playing them so much and supporting them and whatnot. Maybe the last person's game file got deleted by using the action replay too much. Hey, if you're done speculating, author, I'd like to continue with this so-called story. I pushed the new game button, my personal favorite button on the DS system, and my adventure was going to start. Everything started as normal, which you wouldn't know what normal even is for this game, but whatever. I needed to pick my name, and a gender. I would always pick the girl, but I decided to be different this time, since this was the ever-changing game of Pokemon. I picked the boy this time and named myself after Red, my favorite character in Pokemon history. You're really original. Then, everything happened at my house. What I first noticed was that I couldn't name my rivals, and there were 2 of them. They really did change everything. They even talked in bubbles. Yay! I then had to pick my starter Pokemon. I picked the Snivy because I always loved grass starters, and I always loved snakes. But deep inside, I missed Bulbasaur. I didn't want the Snivy, which is why I picked it and told you about the snakes and my love of the Bulbasaur. But I couldn't wait to get the National Pokedex so I can get the old Pokemon back. I hate you so much. But even the names were no longer capitalized. Doesn't belong at the end of this paragraph at all. It's out of place. After I easily defeated my 2 loser rivals, not getting cocky at all at this point, but I noticed something. The 2 of them would turn their bodies around and look at me. At me too. Wrong 2. Not Red, so he's implying that they're looking at him, the author, star of the show, They said nothing while they looked at me though. Then, they returned their conversations to Red, which is good because he was looking for those, and I left my house. When they destroyed it, well, that escalated slightly. I thought everything was normal though, and never noticed their weird behavior. I'm not a good main character, I know. I continued my journey until I saw N. He was telling me he can talk to Pokemon and all his nonsense. Then, he was surprised to see my Pokemon when he talked to them. Of course, he had to look at me before he left. Red, that come hither look. So I kept continuing my adventure. My rivals and N kept looking at me every time I met them. It was their normal behavior, and thought nothing wrong was going on, other than my incredible vainness. Eventually, I made it to the Elite Four. Great adventure, by the way. A solid sentence and a half, at least. So many words. But you made it to them, and I saw N defeat the champion. He told me to defeat him, and more blah. Man, I love your writing style. It's so descriptive. I went up to his castle and prepared my team for the final battle with him. I bought new items, but I never trained my team any higher because I thought it was going to be an easy battle to win. Oh good, the author is sandbagging too. But I went to N, and he had to talk to me, but something was different. The story imploded and turned into a bunch of random sentences. Your Pokemon, he told me, love you, quote unquote. Yeah, ... they always loved me. All the games said that, and if I say that, then that makes it true. Pokemon will always love you, no matter what you do. Even if you name them Michi or release them in the wild. But he continued to talk. No, all lies. What? Question mark, exclamation point? I yelled to myself in my head. I then noticed there was some blank spots in between his words. He was trying to force himself to say this to me. This wasn't normal at all. Is not a call you really get to make in this situation, Sir Expert of Nothing. You haven't played this game before, but they all hate you. He paused for a few seconds and continued to say, you always hated them, all of us. From behind N, my rivals showed up. They said nothing. They only watched as N kept talking to me. We can't be them. Why can't you love us? Why hate us? What did we do wrong? And talk to me, and I was forced into a battle. I was surprised to see a Pikachu around in the level 80s. Could not be any more vague if you tried, so way to go. I never saw the old classic Pokemon in a while. I never got the National Pokedex yet, so that subplot will never be resolved. My fully evolved grass starter came out. My Pokemon was barely in the 55 level range. I can't give you an exact number because I'm making this up. But the Pikachu used the move Frustration and it fainted my superior in one move. Next I send out my Crocodile and tried to use an Earthquake on Pikachu, but the Pikachu was too fast. It used the move Frustration and fainted another one of my Pokemon. What a unique turnout for that second battle. What can I do now? I asked myself. Myself refused to answer me though. Next I send out my trusty Musharna, who is trusty despite me loathing him and his newness. But I like this Pokemon because it has good defense. I was hoping that Musharna would survive frustration, and it was carrying a Quick Claw. It might hit Pikachu, if Pikachu wasn't secretly a spooky ghost. I looked through the bag to see if I can heal my Pokemon, but everything was gone. All my items disappeared. All I saw was a bunch of question marks inside the bag. I couldn't, isn't one word, do anything. I returned to the battle and used the move Psychic. I prayed to God that Quick Claw would work, and it did. Musharna used Psychic, but it didn't affect the Pikachu. What? Question mark, exclamation point again? Don't abuse those. How come? I continued to ask myself because no one else was going to answer me. Pikachu was an electric type, not dark. Yes, that is something that is true. Thank you for sharing. The Pikachu used Dark Pulse though, and my Musharna fainted in one hit. Aww. After my Musharna fainted, I sent out my Girder next. Yuriofwind is noticing a terrible trend going on. I tried to use Hammer Arm, but it was still too slow. Pikachu used Psychic. Somehow, and Girder was done for. I had 2 Pokemon left. The suspense was practically non-existent. I had to win this! Is something someone says right before they lose, but all I had left was an Unpheasant and an Audino. I took out Audino first because it had elemental moves, like Ice Beam and Flamethrower. You know, those 2. I was ready to hit the Pikachu with all the filler I had, but it used another frustration and my Audino lost. Shock and surprise, I know. 1 more Pokemon was left, I said, padding out this story just a bit more. I sent out my bird, and I quickly used Quick Attack without thinking because of my quickness. At last, I was able to hit the Pikachu with little damage, but then I saw it transform. Oh shit, it henshined. It turned into a Zoroark. It used the ability Illusion. Okay, a sprite of N appeared next to the Zoroark, but he looked different. The sprite was all glitched up, and all in different colors. N's hair had both green and black, and his hat was red. I knew why he looked like that. He was trying to look like my favorite character / color red, so I can like him. No. 3 dots. Love him. And now it's a fanfiction. Is this what you wanted to see? Well, too bad, we can't be them. Their ghost powers are limited to color palettes only, but the sprites disappeared. When the Zoroark defeated my last Pokemon, another frustration, and I was done for. The glitched N appeared again to look at me. He told me his last words. Why can't you love me like him? This is a very needy, spooky ghost, but the screen turned white and I was taken back to the title screen. I saw the video of Little N again. Right after the video, I saw that my game file was corrupted and got deleted. The name was gone. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. How am I going to remember my name? But also, I betrayed N, and he made sure he told me for his last words. Does not make sense, but I never thought this would happen to me. I heard stories, but never knew they were real. Never again have I played that same game again. I threw it somewhere in my room and lost it. A very smart move, because now it can infect your whole house. I would never let anyone get their hands on it, because you can't find it. But I do not want them to go through what I saw, because fuck, it was tedious, but I have learned my lesson. I learned how to love all Pokemon. I learned how to love everything now. Oh good, you're gonna get super creepy now. I didn't care if Pokemon were new or old. No matter what, I am going to be happy if any new releases are coming out. But when they announce Mega Evolutions, I'm gonna come back to bitch about that. Right now, I decided to go back to Gamestop and replay Pokemon White, because as everyone knows, all Gamestops have a kiosk set up where you can play Pokemon White 24/7. But this time, I made sure that the game was new, so this wouldn't happen to me again. So far, nothing has happened to me yet. But something will never change. I will no longer look at N normal again. He will always haunt me. Bad end of story. But that was Pokemon Blank. thinking back on the story, I don't think anything actually happened. Nothing scary, at least, or something with N. A weird obsession there, but This has been Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, Yuriofwind still here, even though the video is over, and welcome back to Endslate, where I'm gonna keep talking. And also, it's very windy outside. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up via the mic, Viacom, the mic. So we'll see about that. But yeah, hi. I'm twitchy right now. You just watched the Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime on Pokemon Blank, a stupid story. And I hope you enjoyed that stupid story. I enjoyed reading it, because I've been working on the Gundam video for so long, I needed to do something not Gundam related to kind of get my mind off the Gundam. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get to the end slating, because that is why we're all here, after all. So the first order of end slate is I'd like to recommend I'd like to fuck this whole thing up and just ruin it. And recommend the last video I did on this channel, which was a Gaming Mysteries Redux on Kirby Adventure for the GameCube. I remade that old video I did, which was bad, into a less bad video. Yay! It was that canceled Kirby game, you know. The other two videos are going to be two random ones. For the social media, you can and should follow Nico, because I don't know if you guys noticed at the beginning of the video, but Nico made a new intro. And he made one for Obscure Gaming as well. I may have mentioned those in his before, I'm not really sure. You'll see that one soon, though. It's sick. And the other one's sick, especially for Obscure Gaming. I mean, you already saw the Gaming Mysteries one, but yeah. You can follow him. Definitely follow him. Maybe follow me if you want updates, I guess. I don't know. And then, as always, this part, if you like the videos and you want to stick around, subscribe or like whatever, you're more than free to do so, but I'm not going to force you to do that, or beg you, or any of that, and yeah, so there you go. I am kind of losing my voice a little bit, so I want to go take a Ricola or a lozenge, I don't really care, but see you guys next time on Endslate.